we could talk about the ABC as a perfect example of an organisation which is supposed to, by its charter, show no bias whatsoever. But we could cite multiple examples of where that's not been the case. I always argue that perhaps we should, if the ABC is so confident in the quality of its product, that it should be more than willing to go to a subscription model, because if they're as good as they say they are, then the 1.3 billion they get is probably on the light side. But if you look at their annual reports, you'll see all sorts of trickery by picking, a high inflation date and 25, 30 years ago, and then using that to say that the actual real budget for the ABC has collapsed over time. But, I think it's also worth drawing out how much, government departments have a very woke agenda. And, the New South Wales government was very happy to put on its own website that they were conducting a yarning circle and I think it was basket weaving on the actual website itself. And you sort of wonder, well, I have no issues with, respecting Indigenous cultures and things like that. But I think if secretaries were to be, who lead these things, were really deep believers in these things, they would do it on their own time, not on the government coin. But I think that's a true sign that you really believe in something when you will do it outside of the workplace. But that's not what happens. And so, because I was stuck in Sydney during COVID, again, we used to have IDHOPIT Day, so International Day Against Homophobia and these sorts of things, a lot of LGBT type activities. Now, once again, I never ever experienced any form of racism, homophobia, or any of these things in that department, in my department once, and I'm sure that's replicated across a lot of other departments. So in a sense, the government departments feel obliged to create issues that don't exist, and then virtue signaling, which is very interesting, because if you look at the People Matters employment surveys, the people from the very groups they're seeking to pander to give senior executive positive rankings around 30-odd%. Perhaps they cynically think that these people are doing it for their own self-promotion, not trying to help the very people they are seeking to pretend that they are doing so. So, I think these are sort of things which also lead to what you were saying before, where you take the more social justice approach to running a department. You're not running it for the public, you're running it to serve internal goals.